Dramatic family wounds and lasting scars. There are some memories that just stick to you. You try to shake them off, but they're always there, like a stain. For me, one of those memories is a family barbecue. Not just any barbecue, but the one where my parents looked me dead in the eye and told me I was useless. It wasn't loud or angry. It wasn't a shouting match. It was worse. It was delivered with this quiet, heavy disappointment. Like they were reading from a script they'd been writing about me since I was 10 years old. The sun was beating down. The grill was smoking, filled with expensive steaks Dad bought to celebrate Clara's latest achievement, which, if I recall, was just getting a mid-level promotion at a firm she'd only been at for 6 months. My sister Clara, the golden child, always has been. She was sitting there in a pristine white dress, sipping lemonade, laughing at every joke my parents made. She looked like the poster child for success. And then there was me. I just hit a rough patch. I'd left my stable job to start my own consulting project. Money was tight. I was wearing an old t-shirt, looking tired because I'd been up until 3 a.m. working. To my parents, I didn't look like an entrepreneur. I looked like a failure. Mum started it. She didn't even look at me while she spoke. She just poked at her salad and said, "It's such a shame, Clara, that you're the only one in the family who understands the value of a steady paycheck. Some people just prefer dreaming over doing." I felt the sting immediately. I tried to say, "Mum, the business is growing. It just takes time." But Dad cut me off. He leaned back, tongs in one hand, beer in the other. He said, "You never finished that master's degree, did you? You're 30 now. No house, no stability. Just these projects. What's going to become of you? Honestly, you're becoming useless to this family." Useless. That word hung in the air like the charcoal smoke. I looked at Clara. I expected her to say something. To say, "Hey, he's working hard." But she didn't. She just smiled, a small, pitying smile. She took a sip of her drink and looked away. In that silence, she agreed with them. It hurt. More than I let on. Because deep down, you want your parents to be proud. You want them to see the sleepless nights and the sacrifices. But they only saw what was missing, not what I was building. I didn't finish my steak. I stood up, said, "Thanks for the food," and walked to my car. I remember my hands shaking on the steering wheel. I told myself right then, I am never coming back here until I don't need a single thing from them. That was the last time I went to a family event for 3 years. I went into ghost mode. I blocked out the noise. I worked from coffee shops, from my tiny apartment, from park benches. I faced lawsuits. I faced bankruptcy threats. And I faced nights where I ate nothing but crackers. But every time I wanted to quit, I heard my dad's voice. Useless. 9 years. It's funny how fast time moves when you're building an empire. My consulting project turned into a firm. That firm turned into a market leader. I moved from that tiny apartment to a penthouse. I wasn't dreaming anymore. I was the one making things happen. My parents tried to reach out over the years, mostly when they heard from relatives that I was doing well. But the bridge was burnt. I sent them Christmas cards. Sure. I paid for their anniversary cruise anonymously. But I never let them back into my inner circle. Then, Tuesday morning, I'm in my office, 22nd floor, looking at the city skyline. My HR director, Sarah, pings me. "Hey, we have a standout candidate for the senior marketing director role. High salary ask, but her resume is impressive. Thought you'd want a look since you're picky about this department." I usually don't review mid-level executive hires, but something made me click the attachment. I opened the PDF. There, in the top left corner, was a headshot. Older, more tired, but unmistakable. Clara, my sister. The Golden Child. I started reading her cover letter. It was filled with desperate buzzwords. Looking for a stable environment. High growth potential. Willing to start immediately. I did a little digging. It turns out the perfect company she'd been at for a decade had just gone through a massive layoff. She was out of work. Her mortgage was underwater. And she was desperate. She had no idea who owned this firm. I deregistered it under a parent holding company. To her, this was just Apex Marketing Group. She didn't know Apex was the useless brother she hadn't spoken to in years. The irony hit me like a tidal wave. 9 years ago, I was the one who was useless. Because I didn't have the stability she had. Now, the person who stood by silently while I was torn down needed me to survive. I looked at her resume. She is qualified. She's good. But I kept thinking about that barbecue. I kept thinking about her silence. I told Sarah, schedule the interview, but don't tell her who the CEO is. I want to conduct the final round myself. I'm sitting in my office right now, looking at her interview time on my calendar. It's next Thursday at 2 p.m. Part of me wants to hire her and be the bigger person. Another part of me wants to walk into that room, sit down and ask her, so Clara, do I still look useless to you? So, I'm turning it over to you. What would you do? Would you give her the job and prove you're better than the drama? Or would you let her keep looking? Let me know in the comments. I have a big decision to make before Thursday. I'm your name narrator persona. And this has been Family Drama Diaries. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the update on this story. Until next time.